Welcome everyone. My name is Eric Worre, and thanks for joining us today for this very special webinar. As some of you probably already know, Sir Richard Branson will be appearing at this year's GoPro Recruiting Mastery event this December in beautiful Las Vegas. Network Marketing Pro's continued journey to change the world and the perception of network marketing has led us to one of the most well-known entrepreneurs ever, Sir Richard Branson. His "Screw it, let's do it" mantra has propelled his Virgin brands to global recognition. Coupled with his sense of adventure and out-of-the-box thinking, he's become the most iconic entrepreneur of our time. His story is incredible, and I sat down with him recently in preparation for the event, where I'll be interviewing him live on stage at GoPro Recruiting Mastery 2016. Sir Richard Branson.
Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure to spend a few minutes with you. What do I call you? Sir Richard?
Richard is what everybody calls me.
Rich is what everybody calls you? Okay, I want to
If you like Sir Richard, we'll do that.
I like Sir Richard.
All right,
I do like Sir Richard.
Like.
I was reading in your book, The Virgin Way, your mom, the letter that she put in there, and talking to you about Ricky, and I cannot even think of you as a Ricky.
No, I think Ricky's very much a mum thing.
That's a mum thing, for sure.
The only time I ever hear the word Sir Richard is when I'm walking down a street in New York and suddenly I hear someone saying, "Sir Richard," and I look, where's the Shakespearean play taking place? So anyway, yeah.
Well, we work with a community inside of network marketing that are entrepreneurs, right? They love the idea of being in business for themselves. They feel like in this new economy, it's safer to actually be in business for yourself than being employed by somebody else. They're driven by that. And if there's one person that is iconic for entrepreneurialism, you've got to be the global guy that represents what's possible if you kind of open up your imagination and you work hard. Were you always entrepreneurial?
I think so. I mean, I've always loved to create things from a very young age. I mean, I think when I was 9, I was collecting budgerigars and selling them off because they bred very quickly. And then when I was 10, I decided to plant lots of Christmas trees so that when I left school, I would have lots of money because the Christmas trees would all grow. Of course, the rabbits ate them all. So from quite a young age, I think I had a sort of entrepreneurial streak in me.
When did it turn into success?
Depends your definition of success. I mean, I left school at 15 to start a national magazine to campaign against the Vietnamese War. And that magazine was my education. It was very successful. Not financially, but it was very successful in that it had 100,000 people reading it, and it was very successful in educating me. But it was not until the record company that I launched after that we started getting some financial success, which enabled us then to carry on and do what we've done since.
What he's done since is an understatement for financial success. The Virgin Group is comprised of over 400 companies, and his net worth is over $5 billion. The nugget I got from this, though, was his definition of success. The magazine was a success in that he was able to educate himself about being an entrepreneur by developing an audience and making a difference for a cause that was important to him. He may not have made a profit financially, but he profited greatly from learning how to run a business by starting a business. He eventually started a record shop and advertised popular records in the student magazine, which springboarded his record label, Virgin Records, in 1972. In 1984, he started Virgin Atlantic Airways and later sold his record label to help support the airline, and the rest is history. How do entrepreneurs think different than employees?
It's fairly radically different, I would say. You get a blank sheet of canvas. An entrepreneur is like an artist. So you get a blank sheet of canvas. Then you're creating something to make a positive difference to other people's lives. And in that blank sheet of canvas, you're filling in all the little details to make sure that what you're going to do is exceptionally better than what other people are doing, and the way you're going to do it's going to be exceptionally better. Then as part of that canvas, you need to, have your people that you're going to have working with you on this project in that canvas, and make sure that they're completely committed to to the whole picture. And then, most importantly of all, you just say, screw it, let's do it, and get on and start creating. And you may well fall flat in your face, but then pick yourself up, keep trying until you succeed.
It sounds a lot like culture, building the culture around your vision. You have a vision, and then creating a culture that this is how we're going to do things, this is our standards of excellence, that culture is important. Is it?
If you have a team of people who completely believe in your idea and what you want to do, you will succeed. If you have a half-hearted team of people, it's going to be much, much, much tougher. So it's really worthwhile making sure that whatever it is you're doing is as worthwhile as possible. And if it's not worthwhile, it's just a money-making thing, then add something on, a new dimension that maybe is helping make the world a better place, and that can motivate all your staff as well.
As we continue to talk, I explained that the network marketing community is very passionate about helping the world. They want to create a better life for their families, and the same for other people. They want to grow their team and their network of distributors, so they're constantly searching for quality people to prospect. So I asked him, what advice would you have for someone that's looking to expand their influence? With all these companies and employees that you have, what do you look for in a person when hiring?
What we look for is people who are great with people. I mean, I think personality is so important. People who genuinely care about people, people who praise, don't criticize. These are all the attributes that are really important. And sometimes people who are, a little bit zany. I mean, you don't want everybody to be, just ordinary nice people. You want one or two people to be a little bit off the wall, but just to throw that into the mix.
Is that part of your culture? The little bit of a wild streak?
Yes, I mean, I think there are companies that get rid of people who are don't fit neatly into the box, and often those people could turn out to be the most creative people. I remember many years ago getting a call from a local record shop and saying that one of my employees was stealing from Virgin and selling our records in the local record shop, and I asked to see him, and he came back into my office, and I didn't sack him. I just said, everybody needs a second chance in life, so we'll give you a second chance. He then became the most loyal employee ever. He found some of our most successful bands for us.
Boy George, right?
He found Boy George, Culture Club, Genesis.
Wow.
Second chances can be good for both people, I think.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he didn't give his employee a second chance? And I love his thought on having zany personalities in your organization, how it's good to have a nice mix of personalities, and we don't all have to be the same. When people think about Sir Richard Branson, they think about this adventurer and a man determined to break records and push the boundaries of our accomplishments as a society. From hot air balloons to boats to going up in space commercially, he constantly looks for new challenges.
One of my friends, network marketing, one of the top leaders, a dear friend of mine, Jordan Adler, he is one of the people signed up to go into space with you. He's going through the training right now as the process. Was that a brand building experience? Is that just the way you live your life? Just let's go do the wildest things possible?
The original adventures, the ballooning, trying to be the first across the Atlantic in a balloon, or the fastest across the Atlantic in a boat, sometimes thinking, whatever, was when we just started Virgin Atlantic, our airline, and we needed to come up with some way of putting it on the map, and we had a lot of fun in the process in doing so. The space project's slightly different. NASA and governments are not interested in you or I going to space, and we decided to set up a space company to enable hundreds of thousands of people, hopefully, to become astronauts. And it's been tough, but we're getting, I think, close finally, and I think we can transform the lives of a lot of people, and we can also connecting people who are not connected, and so anyway, it's a rush, it's fun, it's exciting, and
lots of breakthroughs.
And we'll see how.
Like you and your family are going up in the first one, right?
We'll be going up in the first one.
Wow!
But our brave test pilots will make sure,
of course,
first.
Of course. Well, like I've talked about this audience, the network marketing community. There's about 100 million people around the world that are engaged in this. It does approximately $200 billion a year in revenue. It's growing, it's expanding, and these home-based entrepreneurs are looking for a better life for their families. Do you think it's a good idea for a person to get involved in network marketing and start to build something?
I think we were involved with network marketing once with a cosmetics company in the UK, and we would have a dinner every year with all these young entrepreneurs from all over the country, and they were sometimes they were a mum with children who wanted to make some money on the side, and sometimes they were relying on it completely, for their living. And it was tremendous seeing the enthusiasm, how much it transformed their lives, and what a difference it made to them. So I'm a tremendous believer in network marketing, and I'm a great believer in entrepreneurs. I think all the future jobs in the next 20 or 30 years will be created by network marketing entrepreneurs and other entrepreneurs around the world, starting off from scratch or starting off very small and making a real difference in the world.
I think your information is really valuable, and I'm so looking forward. When we thought about who to bring in to our GoPro Recruiting Mastery event, December 1st through the 4th, we have Tony Robbins coming in for an entire evening, but the iconic entrepreneur, the guy that can offer up ideas. And we're going to be asking the audience for questions that maybe would be appropriate for them to hear your answers to, and we're going to have some time at that event to be able to do it. So I look forward to continuing the conversation when we get together there. But what advice would you have? This audience, they're hungry, they want it, they want to be GoPro, they want to become a professional, they want to become a successful entrepreneur. You're a role model to them. What advice would you have for them between now and the time we extend this advice in December? Right. What advice would you have for them?
I think I'm sure most of them are already thinking big, but think even bigger. And set yourself a seemingly impossible task, and then strive to get there. If you just tumble along, day after day, that may be good. It's not much fun. I mean, I think all of us should be all the time setting ourselves new challenges to try to overcome. In the end, just get on. Screw it, but just do it. Just get on and do it. And if you're determined enough, you'll make your dreams come possible.
We talked about the idea of successful people like yourself. They say yes first, they tell the world, and then they figure it out. And that's opposite from most people in the world. They just get out there, like you say, screw it, just do it. And your iconic phrase, screw it, just do it. I think that more people could learn from think bigger, faster, believe bigger, faster. Yeah. Belief is such an important thing.
Yeah, well, one thing I use is if somebody asks me a question, I'll say yes. Now, what was the question? I mean, life's a lot more fun if you say yes than if you say no. I think my greatest fear in life is saying no to something and regretting it. I've never regretted saying yes to something, even if I've fallen flat on my face.
Sir Richard Branson. How great is it that the most iconic entrepreneur in the world is such a big fan of network marketing? I don't know about you, but I can't wait to hear what he has to say at the GoPro Recruiting Mastery event this December in Las Vegas. If you haven't heard about GoPro Recruiting Mastery, it's the largest generic gathering of network marketing professionals in the world.